is it? Let's make sure it's captured. Okay, it is. Yeah. Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Check out the special contents real quick, actually. Great Ace Attorney 2, okay. Okay. Now, let's actually get into the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story, Part 2. I think I actually got my, I think I actually got my, chat box and my alert boxes fixed. I removed the, follower goal, though, because it wasn't working, but that's fine. 15th April, Baker Street. See? That is why I hate grown-ups. All they do is feed ya a pack of lies and take stuff away from ya. Oh really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm? What? Oh my, surely you were given that. Yeah, the deed let me keep it, after I looked daggers at him for long enough. He went through the pockets and then said, "Go on then, have it," before telling me to scapa. Always pays off, giving people a look like you ate them. I can't help feeling that it's going to get you into serious trouble one day. What I really wanted was that nice shiny disc of mine. The music box disc? But Mr. Windbank said it was practically worthless. I think I'm gonna go and have another bash, giving him a long and odd stare. I think not, Miss Lestrade. We shan't enter Windybanks again today. Why not? That's not fair. It can't be helped, I'm afraid. The police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Windybank. But that disc's mine. I had the ticket for this coat, and it was in this coat's pocket. There should be something else and all. That's what that rotten cove said, ain't it? Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he? Well then, that is mine too, whatever it is. Now she's really pushing her luck. Miss Lestrade, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for the day. Yeah, and it's all your fault, Sholmes. So, what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening? Eh? Iris would be delighted to cook, I'm sure, and I might entertain you with a modest violin recital. Nota. Oh. Why would I come round your place, eh? Have you lost your head or something? I don't really know how to do a British voice. Oh dear, she's gone. Having reveled on me quite unnecessarily, I might add. I can't help wondering if perhaps she might turn up anyway. Interesting. Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come. Very well then. I'll inform Iris to set a place for our potential guest at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company later too. Sorry? I believe I'll have a rather splendid surprise to show you. Oh, how exciting! What is it? You shall have to wait and see, Mrs. Sato. Until later, then. Okay. Anything new we can examine, then? not here, of course. Okay. Let's head to the legal consultancy. Okay. I guess we'll move to Sholmes Suite from here. Yeah, that's where we gotta go. 15th April, 3:46 p.m. Sholmes Suite. Ah, Susie and Runo. Come in, come in. Good afternoon, Iris. Thank you so much for breakfast this morning. Oh, and don't mention it. Goodness, look at the time already. Busy as always? I am. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening. Already? You're obviously cooking something special, are you? Oh yes, after all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? Go on. Hee hee, you'll never guess. Look at those little eyes of hers shining. Oh dear, it is awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it? It's Guinea! Isn't that exciting? Oh, what a surprise! Yes, that is wonderful news. Wow, Iris seems overjoyed at the idea. I can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional. Oh, yes, that does sound like fun. I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate. Are you, Mr. Naruhodo? By the way, Iris, what is Mr. Sholmes up to? Hurley? Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. I beg that you won't speak to me. Sorry? I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. As you can see, I am not here. I don't know how to respond to that. I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything. Yes, I see. Really, he behaves just like a child sometimes. Hurley does. Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they? Yes, except that Iris is clearly the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are. Probably dead, to be honest. They're probably just dead. What is the matter, Runo? You have ever such a funny look on your face. Oh, no, it's nothing. I know what it is. Why does this girl here live with Mr. Sholmes, you are wondering? Am I right? How did you know? Oh, Runo, I can read you like a book. Ugh, this girl is dangerous. Don't worry, you can ask me anything. I won't mind. Okay, then we'll ask you anything. So, by Guinea, you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from the McGilded case 2 months ago, right? Yes, who also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although, after that trial, I invited her back here and we had dinner together. And now we are the best of friends. Oh, what a lovely tale. Yes, now if I bump into her on the street, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh. And I chased after her down the back alleys. Interesting idea of friendship. And then I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade I've developed. Oh. There's so many beautiful colors in the world. Guinea wants me to make a whole rainbow. I suppose this means you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you? Yes, that is right. I'd got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same way when I shoot him with it now. Poor Hurley. Oh, I can't wait for Ginny to arrive. It's been too long since she last came over. I'm so excited. I just hope she does actually come. I'm sure you've been wondering why it is that I live here with Hurley, haven't you? Well, it has crossed my mind. That and where are your real parents? My mummy and daddy aren't with me anymore. Mummy passed away when I was born. And at around the same time, my father... Well, he had to go to a faraway land because of one of the cases he and Hurley were working on. Oh, wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley? Yes. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mysterious cases together. She didn't mention that before. He wrote them all up in his diaries. That's what's in the metal chest over there. Really? He recorded them all? So, you mean it is true? Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases? Oh yes, I mean, it is always nice to have one, isn't it? So, Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father? Exactly. Hurley told me I wasn't allowed to look in the chest. But that only made me want to look even more, so I opened it up and found your father's memoirs. Yes, so I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell off of his chair. But then he told me, that's when I found out that the author of all those accounts was my father. So Iris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner. I've practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So, it came as quite a shock when Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy, I mean. It must have done. I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you, and at such a young age. Hurley says it's because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me. Oh? Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say that his ways have rubbed off on me. I just noticed, on her backpack, there's keychains that look like, Sholmes and her. Sholmes is a rabbit, but maybe Iris is a mouse? Maybe? I can't tell. There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost know when people are lying before they open their mouths sometimes. Right. Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That is what inspired me to write The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, actually. I'd always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all those thrilling stories. Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything. As soon as he's solved a case, it all but vanishes from his mind. Oh, I see. The other day, it was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot about the case he just solved. So, the very next day, he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It was quite a shock for everyone. You can say that again. You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris? That is right, Wilson. Daddy is Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from his diaries that he's a doctor of medicine, you see. That is what prompted me to study and study so that I could earn a doctorate as well. Iris's father, who went to some distant land, and is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. That is right. Visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University, and the man who, in the most bizarre of circumstances, lost his life just before we left Japan. Miss Sato. Yes. Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at this time. I think that would be for the best. Ah, my dear fellows, how good to see you. Eek, Mr. Sholmes. Why ever did you not make your presence known to me before? Well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you? We've been with you for most of the day. Goodness, really? So, like, Mr. Sholmes has like amnesia or something. Do tell me, Mr. Sholmes, is your violin unscathed? Huh? My violin? Whatever you're talking about, dear madam. Oh, never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows. Oh, another music box disc. No, not another disc, Mr. Sato. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence, Mr. McGilda's disc. Oh my! Then, what is it doing here? You know, at times, Mr. Naruto, I think that though I have an undeniable turn for detection, I may well be even more adept at larceny. Oh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant, and Bruno could be our go-to lawyer if we ever got caught. Right. Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting. She could write all our menacing crime notifications. Yes, I'd be delighted. I'm just going to pretend this conversation never happened, I think. I don't understand. How did that disc come to be in your possession? I thought Inspector Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard. Quite correct. And that sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I always carry some of this. Ah, it's Sholmes bread and caramel. That is a bar of caramel, Mr. Sholmes. Your one and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken. If you will humor me, my dear fellows, cast your minds back to when the good detective confiscated the disc. I'll be taking that whatever it is of McGilda's down to the yard. Thank you very much. So hand it over. Oh, yes, of course. If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It is all yours, Inspector. For the briefest of moments, I had the disc in my hand, did I not? Yes, you did, but I still don't understand. It was at precisely that moment that I summoned my one and only friend into action. I pressed the disc into a pair of bars. Like this. That is amazing. So, either the caramel is large or the disc is small. Because I thought it would be like, I don't know, about as big as a record. But then, I don't know. That is amazing. The disc and all the minuscule protrusions have made an image in the caramel. Indeed, this caramel is quite exceptional. I developed it myself, you know. Simply soft for making impressions, but resistant to melting. The result of a precisely controlled solution. How extraordinary! Carrying a pair of these on one's person frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key, for example. A simple press, and its unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will, and never without high sucrose nourishment. Yes, it sounds illegal. From the image, I was able to create this. I confess I was most curious to know what manner of music would issue from the disc when played. Do tell us then, Mr. Sholmes. What music does the disc play? Well, unfortunately, I have no idea. No idea? None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box, my dear fellows? No, I'm afraid not. Goodness, you don't know, Bruno? Inside a music box, there's a special metal piece called a comb. That is what produces the sound. Small protuberances pluck the different teeth of the comb as they rotate past it, making the different notes. The first music boxes to be invented used a rotating cylinder with protuberances on it. But over time, a new type of player was produced, which uses discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of music boxes spread far and wide, all around the globe. Why, exactly? Because the discs are easy to produce, and can be interchanged to facilitate the playing of different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now manufacturing music boxes as well. It is wonderful to be able to enjoy music even when no performer is present. But it is the very success of the invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem. What do you mean? As you may imagine, the construction of one firm's music box does not match that of another, and we may have no way of knowing in which music box this particular disc was designed to play. There is no resolution to this problem, I'm afraid. It is quite intractable. Ah, I see. So that is why... Naturally, I tested the disc in those few music boxes I have at my disposal. But as you can hear, to no avail. The results were equally unsatisfactory in this one. So, I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made in Europe. Every single one? That is early for you, always taking things too far. But, my dear girl, an unsolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution. But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge volume of music boxes, won't it? Yes, that's certainly true. In the worst case, I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic room. What? Magnus McGilded, not a name I expected to hear again so soon. Yes, it's only been 2 months since that grisly case. Mr. McGilded perished within hours of the trial's conclusion. Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows, still now. The omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash. Not a shred of evidence remained. And, with the man's death, the truth about the murder in which he was so intimately involved was buried. Even though we successfully established Mr. McGilded's innocence in the trial, the newspapers are still claiming that it remains an unsolved case. The murder of the brickmaker, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what really happened that night. And although Mr. McGilded was found not guilty through my defense, I still don't know if that was the right judgment or not. It would appear the case is not yet closed. Well, it is time I started getting things ready for dinner, I think. Guinea will be here before long. Thank you, Iris. Oh well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie. There's plenty to do. I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now then, where did I leave it? Let this be a lesson to you, Mr. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with the pawnbroker. Yes, you may be right. Oh, that reminds me of something Mr. Windybank said before. He said that he had a manuscript of irises in pawn, didn't he? Did he? Yes, he definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my store, were his words, I believe. So you heard about that, did you? I expect you were as incensed as I was. Oh, yes. The idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Windybank's storeroom gathering dust. My dear madam, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it, more secure than a bank's vault. And what about your Stradivarius, Hurley? Was that safe and secure? Well, there may be the occasional mix-up, caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far from me now. Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that Baskerville story, Hurley? Oh, it sounds so exciting! The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. Ah! What is going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room? Susie, what did you just say? You said the Hound of the Baskervilles, but how could you know the full title? Well, that is because Miss Sato is such a great fan of all the stories about Mr. Sholmes, of course. But Bruno, the Hound of the Baskervilles has never been published. What? When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it yet. And I need to check why my chat box isn't working again, because that could be a problem. Let's test. Okay, so alerts are working, but chat box isn't, which is a pain. When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it yet. I don't understand. That's why he said that he'd keep it safe until it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see. So that's why the manuscript is at Windybank's. And yet, how could Susie here know its title? Well, Hurley, what is going on? Ah! What is it, Mr. Sholmes? It would appear our guest has arrived. Miss Lestrade. This was a bad idea. I knew I weren't welcome. I'm going. No, wait! Miss Lestrade! We've all been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris? Oh, yes! Just wait there, Guinea. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Come along, Susie. Right, of course. It is a pleasure to see you here, Miss Lestrade. Please, make yourself at home. Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you to some meddlesome? I won't take no for an answer. Meddlesome, it is. Ooh. The cat is back. Whack-a-hey. Whack-a-hey. That evening, Iris prepared us all a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes' violin performance was in no way meddlesome, and Gina, as we came to call her, taught us all how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves, well into the night. 15th April, 9:34 p.m. Naruhodo's legal counsel. Consultancy. That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it? Oh yes, Iris's cooking was truly divine. I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Sholm's violin even now. Best of all, I bet I could steal the glasses from his lordship's face now, next time we are in court. Naruhodo-san, could I consult with you about something? I wonder... What is the matter, Susato-san? It is about the telegram I received. Ah! The one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose. I've been summoned. What? Summoned? What do you mean? The telegram was from the Lord Chief Justice office. Lord Strongheart has asked to see me. The Lord Chief Justice? When? Tomorrow morning. What? Then we have to start preparing at once. Oh, no, that won't be necessary, Naruto-san. I've been summoned alone. Alone? What on earth for? I have no idea. I suppose I shall find out tomorrow. What's all this about? Whatever it is making me feel very uneasy. Oh, who could that be, I wonder? It's Iris. Good evening, friends. Ah, Iris. Hello again. And Gina. And Gina, too. Yes, Ginny's going to stay with us tonight. She's going to sleep in with me. Isn't that right, Ginny? Well, yeah. How lovely. Let me make a pot of tea. You know, I've learned so much today. Oh? What in particular? All those things Ginny showed us. Wasn't it wonderful? Ah, you mean all those pickpocketing techniques? We had fun trying them out on each other, didn't we? I think I've awakened a natural talent. I could earn a living from it. You might be getting ahead of yourself a little there. So, what brings you up to our humble quarters at this late hour? Well, you see... I came to return this. Wait, what? That is mine! Oh my, however did you... I don't know how you don't notice when something disappears off you. I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it. Oh, yes, I'd forgotten. Iris literally is a child genius. So anyway, here, you can have it back. Not that I really understand why you wear it, though. Ah, thank you. Alright then, good night. Yes, good night. So this is your office, is it? What do you think, Ginny? I think I wouldn't fancy me chances with a lawyer what lives in a place like this. Yes, me too. Ha 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 ha. It seems as though Iris here still has something she'd like to talk about. I suppose she probably wants to talk about the manuscript. I'm gonna add a quick little thing. Hold on. I'm just gonna add a thing that says that the chat box ain't working. And then I'll have to figure that out before next stream. I swear it was working during my test stream. There. Yes, I suppose she probably does. Iris, I suppose you are hoping to talk about the manuscript, aren't you? Aren't you going to tell me? Oh, that is very squished. Hold on. It disappears so fast, that's why I didn't see it. It only works when you... Well, I saw that O'Reilly talked in chat and I didn't see it. So I thought maybe it just wasn't working, but maybe the delay... Yeah, it has such a low height... It has such a fast hide delay that it actually just disappears way too fast. Here. Let me fix that up real quick. Then... Since I can do that. Chat box. No hide delay. Always show messages. Okay. There. Now it should be working. I finally got it set up properly. I'm so sorry. I need a little more time. Please. Alright, I understand. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward. Oh no, not at all, Iris. Not at all. I don't know what all this is about, really, but... It is a story you made up, is it, Iris? The mantle script, or whatever you call it. I thought it was that because during the test stream, none of my messages showed up. No. It was actually, the hide delay was like 4 seconds or something. So every message disappeared instead of sticking around. How do I make it so it goes... Can I make it so it goes down instead? Or not? Whatever, I'll just put it in the bottom corner then. It is a story you made up, isn't it, Iris, the mantle script? It is not exactly a story that I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries. Yeah. Daddy's? That is right. I don't suppose I mentioned it to you before, Ginny, but... My daddy was Hurley's assistant once. His partner. Eh? They solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases together. Is that right, mister? Apparently so. I was as surprised as you are, though. And Daddy wrote all the details of every single case down, you see, in his diaries. So, I study them and write my stories based on what actually happened. So, where's your old man now, then? He had to go away on urgent business to a faraway land, and he'll be gone for a very long time. So, I've never really met him. Oh, right. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Maybe we should ask her. Can I inspect the shovel? Bruno, what are you doing? Look, I'm not gonna steal nothing, alright? It's all junk anyway. Charming, I suppose. I should engage our guests in a conversation, really? So I can't talk about the shovel. Darn. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Iris, this Hound of the Baskervilles story. I take it that it's another tale inspired by your father's accounts? That is right. I thought it was fascinating. But it is different somehow from the other cases, I mean. Oh, how? I don't really know, but it must be special in some way. Maybe the difference between this case and the other cases is the fact that maybe the Hound of the Baskervilles case is unsolved compared to the rest of the cases that Holmes has worked on. Because after I'd written it and I showed the manuscript to Hurley, he turned as white as a sheet. It was the first time I've ever seen him like that. It pains me to have to say this after you've toiled over it for so long, Iris, but this story must not be published at this time, under any circumstances. But why not? It's one of my best works. I'm not at liberty to say, not now, so please, do not ask me. Alright, then I won't. But I do solemnly swear that I will explain everything one day, Iris, when the time is right. And that is how the manuscript came to be with Mr. Windybank, isn't it? Yes, Hurley said it had to be somewhere very safe. That really gets my goat, that does. He's treating you like a child. It's mean, that's what it is. Keeping secrets like that. Isn't she like 10 though? She kinda is a child. I'm sure Mr. Sholmes isn't trying to be mean. Eh? If he said he wasn't at liberty to talk about it, I'm sure there must have been a very good reason. I think so too. You all are too trusting for your own good. But you can't pull the wool over me eyes. Sholmes is lying to Iris. I bet my life on it. What? Hurley's lying to me? I guess hit examine, move over here. Okay, so I actually gotta talk to Lestrade, your parents. I've realized that I don't know anything about your parents, Gina. I ain't got anything, have I? Never did have. Oh. Look, the East End's full of orphans like me. No one wants nothing to do with us. From the minute we are born, not even our mums. But we all stick together. The older ones look after the little ones and make sure they get by. So that is why you're a pickpocket. Nah, diving's my life. I love it. I get a kick out of it every time I lift some pompous idiot's purse. And that is how we all afford to eat. I'm like Robin Hood, ain't I? That's how I see it. Oh, Gina. I do think about it sometimes. What it'd be like to have parents, I mean. I always thought it'd make everything right. But having listened to what Iris just said, it sounds like having parents ain't always easy either. Oh! I mean, if you know you'd never had them, you don't feel like you're always wanting to meet them. It is true. I do want to see Daddy so much. Ooh. Oh, Iris. Probably will never meet her father, 'cause he's kinda dead. Gina, what do you mean when you said that you know Mr. Sholmes is lying to Iris? Well, he reckons he popped that mantle script or whatever, right? But come on, that's obviously a load of rubbish. Oh my, why would you think that, Gina? It is simple. If that story was really in old Windybank's storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. How did you know about it? Sorry, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. But Hurley would never do something like that. I'm sure of it. Ha. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, the lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling you, that mantle script ain't at Windybank's. You've seen it. You'd have soon see if you'd had a look. Even if you think you can trust him, I don't. That Sholmes is a liar, like the rest of them. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. See? Oh, but I don't mean that I think he sold it. I mean, I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know, even though it is wrong of me to doubt him. Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris. Oh my goodness, look at the time! Come along, Guinea. We should go back downstairs. Yeah, alright. And please, don't mention any of this to Hurley, will you? No, of course not. Good night, then, Iris. Good night, Gina. You must let me make breakfast for you tomorrow morning. I insist. Oh, yes, please. I can't wait, Susie. Good night, then. Iris, it sure is easy to forget, isn't it? Sometimes she speaks just like an adult, but deep down, she's still just a child. Well, I think it's time that I turned in for the night too, Naruhodo-san. Dr. John H. Wilson, Iris' father, but also the name of the murdered visiting professor at University. It can't be a mere coincidence. There's something deeper going on. Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo. That voice. That is Mr. Sholmes. Well, what is going on? It's the middle of the night. It's Mr. Lestrade. She's gone. Gina? She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris's room, but her bed is empty. Well, she's an independent young woman. She probably decided to go home, no? I think not. From speaking to her before she retired, I received the distinct impression that she was looking forward to breakfasting with Mrs. Sato. No, I don't believe the girl has gone home, but I've been waiting for her for over an hour now. Over an hour? Oh. If you'll indulge me, look out of the window, my dear fellow. What is this about? I mean, we can see that Windybanks is open. Wait a minute. Why is there a light on at this time of night? That is Mr. Windybanks' pawnbrokery. Mr. Windybanks. Oh no! It is simple. If that story was really in old Windybanks' storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could have known about it. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. Could Gina have gone? It seems you have some knowledge of the situation, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Oh, no. No, not really. Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once! Mrs. Sato! "16th April, 1:14 a.m., Baker Street. The door to Windybanks is open, and the lamp is burning. It must be Gina, mustn't it? Let us hope it's nothing more sinister. What? Come, there's not a moment to lose. Clearly something is afoot inside. That's not good. You can look over at the calendar here, and you can clearly see blood. That's really not good. There's no one here. Oh, yes. There is. Bang! Ah! Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! What the? Has Sholmes been shot? Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo. But, after them! Go! Right. I've lost him. Hello, hello. What have we here? The alarm was just raised from this pawnbroker, sir. Would you know something about that? Officer, come with me. It is my friend, Mr. Sholmes. He's been shot. Shot? With the policeman close behind me, I ran back to Windybanks.
Mr. Sholmes!
Mr. Narado.
How bad is it? Never mind me, but there's much at stake. Behind that door. In the storeroom. Hurry!
A body! Okay. It's like a tongue in
It's Gina!
Felt like a Danganronpa body discovery there. So he continued. Okay. So here's the point where I asked the question. Should I continue, since it's only been about 52 minutes, should I continue this till for the next part? Or should I end the stream here and, I don't know. Because it's only been like 53 minutes. Which isn't that long. But I don't know how long the next part will be. You know what, let's go for it. Bang. Ah. It'll be alright, Mr. Naruto. After them, go! Behind that door in the storeroom. Hurry! It is Gina. From that moment, Windybank's pawnbrokery became a crime scene. Everything that followed happened in a whirlwind of activity. The arrival of the police, the preliminary investigation of the scene, and the questioning. It was just before dawn before I was allowed back to my lodgings at 22-1B. th April, 6:21 a.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Oh, Iris. Would you like to have a discussion on shovels? A telegram came, but all it said was, wait at home. Oh, yes. We asked one of the policemen to have it sent. It was simply impossible to come back. When I woke up, I was all alone. Hurley and Guinea were gone. Everyone was gone. What happened, Runo? Poor Iris. She's trembling. She's obviously trying very hard to not to let herself get too worried. I'll explain everything that I know. Something awful has happened, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid so. Let's have a talk about shovels. That spade has been in here since we started renting the place. Bruno! That's not a spade, it's a shovel! You're a shoveler, are you? I had a feeling you'd pick me up on that. Oh no! A pick is something else entirely. Now I've dug myself into an even deeper hole. I will examine that shovel at every time someone new enters this room. I swear it. Every shovel dialogue, just like ladders. And this will be the shovel. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Iris, but Mr. Windybank is dead. He was shot. We discovered it in the early hours of the morning. Oh, yes, I had a feeling. You did? Well, I saw all of those police carriages pull up outside his shop, so I knew something must have happened there. When we entered Windybanks in the small hours, we disturbed a gang of 2 thugs. They ran out onto the street, and I chased after them, but they got away. So, it was one of them who shot old Mr. Windybank, I suppose. I don't know, but that is not what the police believe at the moment. Oh, why not? They've arrested someone else as their prime suspect, you see. Gina. Jenny? But why? Well, the thing is... No, Ginny wouldn't do something like that. I know. None of us think she did it. That's why then why have they arrested her? I'm sorry. There's nothing I could do. So, where's Hurley then? Is he still there investigating the scene? He really ought to have some breakfast. It's not good for him to miss meals. I don't want you to worry, Iris, but I have some news about Mr. Sholmes. He was taken to hospital this morning. What? Well, when we entered Windybanks, a gun was fired and he took a bullet. Hurley? He was shot? No. It is all right. His life isn't in danger. Really? Are you sure? Where is he? Which hospital? He's at Saint Sinners. They're tending to him there. I must see him at once. I'm sorry, Iris, but you can't. Why not? That is not fair. I'm a family member. I should be allowed. No, I mean, nobody can see him at the moment. He's not allowed any visitors. They're preparing to operate, you see. To operate? Oh, poor Hurley. It was the 2 thugs who were in Mr. Windybank's shop. They shot Mr. Sholmes when we disturbed them, you see. It was pitch black inside the shop at the time. My mind went totally blank, I'm afraid. I just froze. After them! Go! After that, I ran out into the street, but... Well, they were long gone. I shouldn't have hesitated. I'm so sorry. It is my fault. I let them get away. I think that is a very good thing. Sorry? Well, if you'd seen which way they went and chased after them, you might have been shot as well, Bruno. On top of everything else, I couldn't bear that. Oh, Iris. Where's Susie, Bruno? She's still at the police station. Oh, why? I expect she's still being questioned. The police said they wouldn't be finished for a while. Why aren't you there, then? Well, I didn't get a good look at the criminals anyway, so they weren't questioning me for long. And Mrs. Sato stayed behind at the scene to tend to Mr. Sholmes, so they didn't get started until later. Ah, I see. Besides, one of us had to come back to be with Iris. I'm glad Inspector Gregson agreed to me leaving early. You should have let me know, and I would have come to the station. I don't understand why they arrested Ginny. It's not fair. What about the 2 thugs that were at the scene? Why aren't they the prime suspects? After all, they shot Hurley dead, didn't they? No, I mean, Mr. Sholmes isn't dead, Iris. This is all so horrible. The thing is, Mr. Windybank was found on the floor in the storeroom where he keeps all the deposited articles, and the storeroom door was locked from the inside. I see, but he wasn't alone in there. Gina was found next to him on the floor as well. Oh no. And according to the detectives who investigated afterwards... Don't tell me. There was no one else in the room? Yes, exactly. How did you know? It is the only explanation. Yes, the only explanation indeed. What do you mean by that, Runo? Well, what can I say? I'm damned if I agree, damned if I don't. I'm afraid I'll need to go out again tomorrow now, Iris. There's too much I can do at the moment. But I can at least try to find out how Mr. Sholmes and Gina are getting on. I want to go too. Take me with you, Runo. I can't stand just sitting around here waiting. I'm not sure how I feel about taking a 10-year-old child to the scene of a murder. But I don't want to leave her all alone here either. Alright then, Iris. Perhaps you can help me? Oh yes, I'd love to. Gina's at the prison. Mr. Sholmes is probably in his hospital bed. And don't forget, we have to visit the crime scene. We need to conduct a thorough investigation. I can see you're ready for action. Imagine Iris would appreciate going to the hospital sooner rather than later. So let's move to the hospital first then. New location has been added. St. Sinner's Hospital. "16th April, St. Sinner's Hospital, Ward 3. Hurley! Oh! He's not here! No, that is strange. The nurse definitely said he was in the bed by the window, didn't she? Oh, I know what has probably happened. Hurley was being a big baby and the bullet wound wasn't that bad after. Also, he's been sent home. That's not how bullet wounds work. I'm not so sure about that, baby or not. There's no question that it was a fairly serious injury that Mr. Sholmes suffered. Oh. Hello, hello! What have we here? This ward is off limits. No visiting. So what are you doing in here, eh? Well, I'll have you know, we're Hurley's next of kin. Eh? Oh. Well, begging your pardon then, ma'am, sir. A little lady and a curious Eastern gentleman. The great mystery solver as a mysterious family, eh? If that is how you see us, sure. Where is he, Constable? Where is Hurley? I believe he is currently in the operating theater, ma'am. Undergoing an extensive operation. Extensive? It has been several hours since he went in. Oh dear. Is he going to be alright? Well, it does appear to be working, you see. The anesthetic, that is. Oh! I have heard a report that the gentleman claims he may have had a little too much to drink last night. Coffee, that is. Anyway, I think it would be fair to assume that he won't be back here for several hours yet. I see. Thank you, Constable. Perhaps we should leave and come back later. Oh, poor Hurley. Well, we gotta investigate everything. There's a notice board on the wall here. Look. Let's see. What does it say? Thought of the day. On seeing any vermin, calmly and discreetly inform matron. Oh, yes. They have rats and mice in hospitals like this that love to feast on all the medicine. If you don't deal with them, there's nothing left to treat the patients. Well, why don't they just fix up the damn hospitals? Rats and mice. Oh, I see. This is a rather old building, I suppose. Fix the damn building, remove every rat possible. But the doctors and nurses are all very good, I hear. I certainly hope so for Mr. Sholmes' sake. I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. This must be Mr. Sholmes' bed. Poor Hurley. I know. It looks as stiff as a board, doesn't it? Oh, I don't think that will bother him. No? I often find him asleep, face down on the floor, completely dead to the world. I think I'd call the police if I discovered someone like that. I wonder what these are. Do you have any idea, Iris? Oh, haven't you ever seen crutches before? Let me explain. They are for people with leg injuries. Help them walk. You hold one under each arm, you see. Ah, right. I thought they were weapons of some sort. Why would there be weapons in a hospital? I thought maybe a fighter had been injured in a battle contest and been brought here along with his weapons. That is surprisingly plausible. Okay. Let's move to the prison. And then we'll go look at the crime scene. 16th April, local prison, cell 13. Gina Lestrade. Hello, Gina. It's taking forever to load that. Oh, you still have the grenade launcher Hurley and I made. I wish she wouldn't point it at me all the time, though. What are you here for? Ginny, I have a feeling it's because of us that you've ended up in the trouble. So, we were thinking that we might be able to help you. Huh? Well, you can't. Sorry? You heard. Get lost. Don't be like that, Ginny. I know you didn't do it. You'd never shoot someone. I just know you wouldn't. You think you know me? Pull the other one. Oh. You ain't got the first idea about the likes of me. I'm a thief. I pinch people's purses when they're walking down the street. That's how I get by. If I saw me chance, I'd sneak into a pawn shop any day of the week. Just to see what I could lay my hands on. Get it? That's the kind of person I am. But Ginny, I'll be in court tomorrow, they say. Some cove came by before and said he'd be a lawyer for me or the like. Said it was my right or something. But I told him to get stuffed. I don't need no lawyers. I don't need no one. She couldn't be staring at me any more obviously. She tried. Why are you being like this, Ginny? I don't understand, Gina. Why did you send the public defender away? You wanted me to sign some papers, representing papers or something like that. It's all gonna be rigged anyway, the whole trial. They'll pin it on me because I'm a kid. That's what grown-ups always do. Why do you think that? 'Cause that's how it's always been for me. Growing up in the back slums, me old life. If you do what the grown-ups tell you, it'll get your mates dragged off by the coppers or worse. I've had it happen to me before and all. Been sold out and nearly snaffled on the back of it. You can't trust no one. That is the point. As soon as you do, you're gone to grass. Dead. Gina, listen. If you like, in tomorrow's trial, I could... Forget it! Ginny! Don't you trust Bruno? Nah, I don't. Look, I'll ask you nicely now. Just leave me alone. Will you tell us what happened, Gina? Last night, at the pawnbroker's. There's nothing to tell. I figured it'd pay me, so I broke into the place and started going through the storeroom. But the old bloke walked in on me and you know the rest. But why, Ginny? Why would you do that? Ain't it obvious? The place is full of stuff I could sell for a shilling or two. Diving ain't easy, you know. It's a lot of work, and half the time you don't even get nothing. Is that really why you broke into the place? What? Are you sure the true reason wasn't something else? Oh, give it a rest. What'd be the point anyway, eh? Nothing I could say would make a blind bit of difference. Please tell us, Ginny. We'll believe you, whatever it is. Believe me? Don't be daft. You can't believe nothing. Everyone lies all the time. And you know what? When it comes to liars, I'm the biggest of the lot. I've told some unforgivable lies, I have. What do you mean by that? But what unforgivable lies? What did you mean before, when you said you were the biggest liar of the lot? Why don't you tell us what these unforgivable lies you've told are? Maybe we can help. Sorry. We're out of time. They're gonna want to question me now. Guinea, please. Oh, yeah? I wanted to give you this. Something to remember me by. It's another cat. A photographic print of a really adorable cat. I found it in one of the pockets of this coat. Ain't no point me having it. I wonder what a little photograph like that was doing in a pocket of that overcoat. Anyway, don't bother coming again. Bye. Oh, Guinea. The white cat photograph has been entered into the court record. And we are gonna check that court record. It's on the back. Yep, I figured. Look on the back of this print here. There's something on it. 13th February, 9 p.m. Article deposited 1 small box. Loan amount paid, 10 shillings. Redemption deadline, 13th April, 9 p.m. So this photograph print is a redemption ticket? 13th February. That could be significant. It was just 2 days before the murder on the omnibus, wasn't it? A small box. That doesn't tell us much about it, does it? Bruno, if Mr. McGilda still had the ticket, then presumably he never redeemed the article. So do you think the box might still be present somewhere in the shop? Ah, yes! If it's something McGilda deposited, we need to investigate. th April, Windy Bank's Pawnbrokery. This is where it happened, then. Last night. That is right. The 2 thugs I told you about were obviously ransacking the place looking for valuables. But, apart from the policeman here, you wouldn't know anything had happened. There's no sign of any of a disturbance. No, you're right about that, actually. In fact, if anyone, it is the police who seem to be the ones doing the ransacking. I know what you mean. They are like a gang of organized criminals all dressed in black. Oi! I heard that! Inspector Gregson. Just could tell. Oh, Inspector, good morning. I suppose I ought to thank you for your vigilance last night. We got to the scene before it was disturbed, at least. Shame you let the 2 rogues get away, mind. Yes, I'm sorry about that. I thought you'd assign extra men to the beat around here, Gregsy. Now look what's happened. Hurley's been injured because there weren't enough police on duty. Ah! Your ladyship! No one told me you were coming. I expect you to take full responsibility for what happened to Hurley and see he has the very best medical care. Of course, your ladyship. The very best doctors in the capital are tending to him as we speak. And I don't think it is Bruna's fault that the rogues managed to get away, is it? Chasing criminals is the police's job. Absolutely, your ladyship. As you say, madam. As you say. The gent in black is totally blameless. Everyone's in agreement about that. Would you believe it? He's like a completely different person with ours. Talk about a personality change. Oh, where are me manners? Are you thirsty, your ladyship? Perhaps you'd like some juice? Some nice, refreshing fruit juice? Oh, why? Are you thirsty, Gregsy? I have some of my special herbal tea with me, if you'd like some. Glug, glug, glug. Ah, lovely. Very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. I don't even recognize him like this. I can't tell if he's disgusted by it or not. Okay. Let's examine. I didn't mean to do that. I'll just click here. Look at this. Alright then, let's see what we can uncover. Oi, what do you think you're doing, Sunshine? You can't touch anything in here. Oh, but we were hoping to investigate. This is a crime scene for Pete's sake. No touching. What's the problem, Grexy? Runa's a lawyer, you know that. Oh, I'm ever so sorry, your ladyship. Ever so sorry. The rules and regulations are a thorn in my side. Of course, if Mr. Naruhodo was to have been properly appointed by the accused, that'd be another matter. The accused? If you could show me some representation papers, I'd be only too happy to let you nose around. Did you hear that, Runo? You need Ginny to sign some representation papers. It looks like presenting the detective here with the correct paperwork is the only way. Okay. So I need to go. Well, let's talk to him. The investigation. So, how is the investigation going, Inspector? Nothing to it, really. Very simple case, this. There's some very definitive evidence. We're just about to charge that diver we arrested last night, in fact. Yuna, you're going to charge her? That is right. Should be able to bring her before the judge at the Bailey tomorrow. Definitive evidence, you say? What is it? Come on, show me. Your ladyship, as much as I wish I could oblige you, I'm afraid. Ah, I see. You've already captured the pair of thugs who broke in here last night, have you? What the? And you are going to put them on the stand as witnesses, are you? How could you? How? How could you possibly know that? I had a feeling that is all. Remind me never try to keep a secret from Iris. So, you've arrested the two men who shot Mr. Sholmes, have you? Well, yes. They were rounded up pretty quickly by the lads on the beat. And Miss Lestrade is being held at the prison? She should be. That is assuming she hasn't lifted the key from the jailer, of course. Can you tell us anything about Mr. Sholmes? What is his condition? Sorry, I'm not at liberty to divulge that information. Scotland Yard matters are strictly confidential. Well, I know he's been being operated on at St. Sinner's. Why can't I see him? I'm family, you know. I'm terribly sorry, your ladyship. It is the hospital's policy. No visiting at all. Oh. The bullet must have hit an artery in his midriff. He's lost a fair bit of blood. Oh, no. He didn't seem too bad in the first hour or so. But a hemorrhage like that is enough to make even the one and only Sholmes pipe down. Mr. Sholmes is a human like the rest of us, you know. Well, anyway, he's having emergency surgery right now. They've got to stop that bleeding. But he will be alright, won't he? They'll be able to make him better. Oh, of course, your ladyship. He'll be red as rain before you know it. Really? How do you know? How do I know? Well, because, of course. Ah, yes, because Mr. Sholmes is such a great detective, that is why. We better pray the doctors have a better grasp of what's needed to make someone well again. Oh dear, please don't die early. I report to your ladyship the moment I hear he's out of the operating theater. I couldn't help noticing, Inspector. What? Out with it, Sunshine. Well, there seems to be a marked difference between the way you talk to me and Iris. Watch the sauce, Sonny. I'm a copper, and we don't go in for favoritism. But he's right. You do treat us differently. It's because of those Adventures of Sherlock Holmes stories. That is why. Oh. I crop up in them, don't I, Inspector Tobias Gregson? Oh, well, yes, because you're an acquaintance of Hurley's. What did you write about? What did you write about the inspector, Iris? I don't remember, really. It was one of Sholm's lines. Gregson is the smartest of the Scotland Yarders, is how he put it. Oh, did I write that? And you know what that one line did for me, eh? The very next month, my pay doubled. Doubled, I tell you. Oh, that is amazing. All because everyone at the yard reads them. They read all the Herlock Sholmes stories. They've even set up a fan club for me. Of course, that explains everything. It was around that time when you became such a toady to me. Can you blame me? All it'd take is one bad word from you, and Sholmes could change his tune about me. Gregson? No, the greatest detective, we'll say. He's getting quite overrated these days. Think what would happen to my salary if that came out in print, eh? The whole thing gives me the willies. I can't tell you how many nights of sleep I've lost to worrying about it. But that would never happen, Grexy. Every month, when the new Rance magazine comes out, my hands are trembling as I turn the pages. Oh, how awful for you. Here, have some of my tea to settle your nerves. Ah, lovely. Ta very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. He looks like he's about to cry from drinking the tea. Is it bad or something? Teetotal. Oh, yeah. There's something I was supposed to talk to you about, actually, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, what is it? I've got an important message for you. I clean forgot about it until now. An important message? I wonder what it could be. Are you going to tell me what this important message is then, Inspector? Yeah, it's about that young lady who's normally by your side, your assistant. Dear Susie, is she alright? She's at the station, isn't she? Being questioned, I believe. Nope, not anymore. She had to head off. Head off? Where? To Lord Strongheart's office, of course. He summoned her. Ah, yes, of course. I'd forgotten about that. One of the whipstocks took her there in a yard carriage after we'd finished questioning her, but she'd asked us to tell you she didn't have the fare for the return journey, and to go and meet her there. She's got a nerve, using Scotland Yard as a bloomin' messaging service. I see. Well, thank you for passing that on, Inspector. Why does Susie have to go and see the Lord Chief Justice? She didn't tell me. But I'd better head over to the Lord Chief Justice's office to fetch her straight away. There's gonna be a lot of locations. 16th April, British Supreme Court, Chief Justice's office. Yes, no matter how many times I come here, I always get the same sense of oppressiveness somehow. Do you think the place is oppressive? I think it's normal. How so? I mean, look at that suit of armor over there. You can't take that seriously, can you? Maybe it thinks the same about you. So everything is clear with regard to tomorrow's arrangements, I trust. Yes, thank you very much. There they are, Susato-san and Lord Strongheart. I wonder what they were talking about. They both look very serious. Very good. There's nothing further to discuss. You may return to your lodgings. No doubt you have much to do in preparation for your return to your homeland. Wait, what did you just say? Your return to your homeland? Sato-san. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. What was all that about? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you for coming to collect your colleague. What is this all about? Why were you talking about Mrs. Sato's return to her homeland? And tomorrow? Tomorrow? But what about Guinea's trial? You mean... she's been formally charged now? Oh dear. Miss Sato, what's all this about? Oh, please don't concern yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. It's only me going back to Japan. Your life here can continue just as it has. That's not what I asked! What happened? Why are you leaving? It is my father. He's fallen ill. Oh no. Professor Mikotoba? If I may. Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that is right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I'm a professor of the forensic medicine at Yume University. And I'm a professor at stuttering and being tired all the time. We received an international telegram from the Empire of Japan informing us of the news. 10 days ago, Father collapsed with a fever. The cause is apparently unknown, and it seems he grows weaker day by day. I don't believe it. As you are aware, the voyage from here to your country's capital, Tokyo, takes some 50 days. I thought it would be prudent to hasten Mrs. Sato's departure as much as possible. Yes, absolutely. I will leave London first thing tomorrow morning. I can't believe this is happening. Who's gonna be my consultant then? I mean, it could just possibly be that we actually just get Iris as a consultant. So, Kina has been charged? She'll have to appear in court? Yes, she was formally charged a few hours ago, and the date of the trial has already been set for tomorrow. No, not even 24 hours later? Kina? Ah, the Lestrade girl, and the murder of the Baker Street pawnbroker. Yes. An all too transpicious case. The pickpocket was clearly disturbed mid-robbery and shot the man in a panic. No, the yard is overstretched as it is, without wasting time on these open and shut cases. It's not wasting time. Jenny would never do something like that. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart? In defense of your fine services to date, I shall overlook this young girl's insolence, but I have no recollection of admitting a child into my office. Leave now. Of course, Lord Strongheart. Criminals will tell the most palpable lies in order to evade justice. The police can ill afford the time it takes to unravel all their untruths. Meanwhile, more crimes are perpetrated. We have far more serious matters with which to contend. Serious matters? Didn't Gregson mention something like that yesterday? Yes, Inspector Gregson made a similar remark yesterday. It is no concern of yours, though I'm sure I need not remind you of that. "3 minutes precisely until my next meeting. You must excuse me." There's just one more thing, Lord Strongheart, which is, it is Miss Lestrade's trial. I wonder if you might permit me to defend her. A timely suggestion. Sorry? The girl currently has no representation. But, that's not fair. Yes, she may be a pickpocket, but she still deserves a fair trial. Do not misunderstand me, young lady. The government provides for those too poor to afford representation with a public defender. The accused need only sign the relevant paperwork, and a defense barrister will be assigned to the case. However, the young girl in question has refused that right. Why would she do that? A question you would do well to direct at Miss Lestrade. You'll find her at the local prison. Yes, thank you. Now then, it is time I was leaving. Good day to you. What a day. Gina charged with murder. Sasato's-san about to leave. Come, Mr. Naruhodo. Iris, we must make haste. But, Susie... You're leaving for Japan tomorrow, aren't you? Don't you have packing things to do? As Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, my personal circumstances are of no consequence. My sole purpose remains to help you, in whatever way I can. Thank you, Miss Sato. That is a very pensive look. I think we ought to visit Gina first. In any case, I should like to wish her well before I leave. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Let us go. If I'm honest, this is completely throwing me off. I'll just have to do what I can as a lawyer. Back to the prison we go. "16th April, local prison, cell 13. Ah, hello again, Gina. Didn't you have that load? I presume you didn't shoot it before and you already loaded it earlier. What are you for now? To have the muzzle of that grenade launcher shoved in our faces yet again, obviously. I think I need to improve the way you load ammunition into that thing, don't I? Look! You can come as many times as you like, but I ain't got nothing more to say to you. She sounds like, that one, the defendant of the 6th trial of the first game, with how she doesn't want anyone to defend her. At least I think it's the 6th trial. Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. Gina, I wonder if you might hear me out. There's something I'd like to say. Well, I'm sorry to say that I must reluctantly bid you farewell. Farewell? Tomorrow I must begin my journey back home to Japan. I fear we may never meet again. Oh, right. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many lovely people here in London. I have so many wonderful memories. And yet, as things stand now, it will be a glum parting indeed. Poor Iris is so miserable. Susie. Well, that ain't my business. Both Iris and Mr. Naruhodo believe you to be innocent, Gina. They've put their faith in you. But somehow, you can't find it in your heart to put your faith in them. Yeah, that's right, I can't. What of it? It grieves me greatly to have to say goodbye to my friends when they are so clearly unhappy. Because of you. What? It is my fault? Yes. So I have one final request, Gina, before our paths never cross again. Hello, Trucy. Right, here and now. I want you to show both of them that you don't deserve the faith they've invested in you. I am actually doing good right now. How about yourself? Eh? Only by doing that will you truly be as alone as you claim to be. What are you talking about? What do you expect me to do, eh? You've told us that everyone lies. So prove it by admitting one of your own untruths. What about what you said before, Guinea? You said something about unforgivable lies? You must tell Mr. Naruhodo and Iris the truth now. That is my last request before I leave. My last request is a judicial assistant. I'm sorry if my stream is a little boring. I kind of go for the style of having the stream on in the background and just having people listen to that. At least for this game. I plan to move on to more exciting games, I guess. After this one. Or at least after the first half of this game. No, I can't. Whatever these lies are, they're obviously weighing very heavily on Gina's mind. Gina, I could be wrong, but is it something to do with what happened 2 months ago? Something about that trial? The one in which Magnus McGilded was acquitted. Ah, the case of that mysterious murder that took place inside the omnibus. You were called as a witness by the prosecution. Is that what this is about? Yeah, you're right. Because in that trial, I lied. I lied like you wouldn't believe. Will you tell us about it now? Like you said, it all happened 2 months ago. The coppers got hold of me and shoved me in the witness stand. And based on your testimony, Mr. McGilded was declared innocent. Yeah, well, the thing is, I lied about a whole bunch of stuff. I knew it. What sort of thing did you lie about? I was hiding under the seat that night. That was the truth. It was pitch black in that little cubbyhole. I couldn't see a thing, and then I heard that loud thud, like someone falling on the floor. And that is when Mr. McGilded discovered you? Yeah. This case is about, so in the third case, Gina Lestrade, was a pickpocket who was hiding underneath the seats of our defendant. In this case, Miss Lestrade is accused of killing a pawnbroker, in which Magnus McGilded, we believe, gave her a checkout receipt for an overcoat that had things in its pockets, like some kind of music disc and a photograph. Because it hasn't been explained why she went to the pawnbrokery on the day of the murder, and so we're trying to question Gina Lestrade about a lot of things. Oh, also, people are getting shot left and right. I guess he pulled me out from under the seat and sat me next to the dead man. There weren't much light to see by, but when I looked at Mian's, I had the cove's blood all over him. I was so scared, I couldn't even speak. You had his blood on your hands? In other words, it was Gina that the witnesses on the roof saw through the skylight. Then Mr. McGilded started asking you questions, I suppose. Who you were and why you were hiding under the seat. Yeah, he did. Only, that is not all. Oh, what do you mean? I mean, he threatened me. Threatened you how? He made me swear about what I'd seen and what I'd heard. And about what he was going to do after the cove was found dead. He made me swear I wouldn't tell no one about any of it. If I did that, he said he'd let me scarp her before the coppers showed up. Gina, you must tell me what he swore you to secrecy about. What you saw, what you heard, everything. Oh, there's a lot of things now. You said McGilded made you swear not to tell anybody what you saw. But you were in the pitch black compartment under the seat the whole time, weren't you? Yes, with Mr. McGilded sitting above your head, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that is true, but it was when I heard the thud of the cove hitting the floor, I let out a little scream, see? Couldn't help it. McGilded heard that, and dragged me out by me arm, and that's when I saw it. It was on the floor next to the old geezer where I had been stabbed. A disc, all bright and shiny. A disc? Do you mean? Yeah, that is it. The one with the D took off me at Windybanks. So, the music box disc was there on the floor of the omnibus? Not for long. McGilded spotted it straight away. He picked it up smartish and stuffed it in his inside pocket. So that disc was in the omnibus 2 months ago at the scene of Mr. Mason's murder, and the bog trotter told me. If I weren't to mutter a word of it to no one, because it was so dark under that seat in the cab, I was straining me ears the whole time. After a while, I heard the door and footsteps inside the cabin. Presumably, that was McGilded getting on board. Nah, not only him. Oh, because I could definitely make out the footsteps of 2 people. In that case, it would seem likely that it was Mr. McGilded and the victim. Oh, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. In his testimony during the trial, Mr. McGilded claimed he slept during the carriage ride. But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness and I always succumb to it. And your own testimony, Gina, supported his. All I could hear was that Irishman snoring. Yeah, that weren't exactly true. Neither of them were asleep. I could hear him talking the whole time in low voices. What? What were they talking about? Sorry, I don't know. The sound of the horses and the wheels was too loud. But that still tells us something. Mr. McGilded and the victim knew each other. So, McGilded was lying, as I suspected. I knew it weren't gonna take long before someone raised the alarm and that the bloke had been killed. Yes, you are quite right. The other passengers on the roof deck noticed very quickly. So when the cab came to a stop, McGilded told me to hide back under the seat again. I climbed in and waited. The 2 coves from up top ran off to get the coppers. Yes, Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. Right, and after they'd gone, McGilded asked the driver to do him a favor. A favor? Now then, fella, what I need you to do is take this coat of mine and deposit it with a nearby pawnbroker. And for your troubles, let's see now. Hey, I'll give you 10 guineas. A nearby pawnbroker? You mean on Baker Street? Yep, you got it. It was Windybank's. The coachie snapped up the money and ran off to pop this coat as fast as he could. So then there was no one left in the carriage. McGilded opened the box under the seat and let me get out of there, but not without conditions. I see. What were McGilded's conditions then? For letting you go free, I mean. Not telling a soul, not for anything, about what I saw and what I heard. And there was something else as well. There's more? Yeah, this is the most important thing, he said. I'm after sending the coachman on a little errand for me, with some small change in his hand. Now then, did you hear what I asked of him? Did you see anything at all? You asked him to go pop your weasel, right? Aye. The fiend's taken me overcoat to deposit with the pawnbroker hereabouts. And I want you lass to take the redemption ticket for it. Do you understand? What? You want me to have the ticket? That is right, and I'll come fetch it from you later. Sometime within the next 2 months. You're to hang on to it until then, is that clear? Whatever you do, don't lose it. Alright then. And in case I might happen to be delayed at all, you're to go to the pawn shop, Windybank so it is, and you're to extend the loan about for the 2 months is up. If you forget, the article will be forfeited and any old fiend could come along and buy it. But, I ain't got that kind of brass. Here's £5. That should be enough. Do we understand each other, lass? Don't try anything funny now. If you go against me... Yeah, I get it. Good. And one more thing. In a few days from now, you'll be visited by the police, I've no doubt. The coppers? Aye. They'll come asking you to take the stand in court to testify as a witness. So let's just have a wee chat about that, then. Shall we? What is it that you might say, and what is it that you won't? Very intriguing. After he'd gone over it all, I piked it, got as far away from there as I could. He'd the pawnbroker's ticket in some bushes near the scene. I went to fetch it the next day once it got dark. So McGill had planned it and coerced Gina into giving false testimony. Friggin' knew he wasn't innocent. No way in hell. I bet you're ready to string me up, eh? I lied. In that big old courtroom. I told some corkers. The thing is, he said he would make it so we couldn't live in the East End no more. That's what he threatened me with. What a wicked man. He knew everything what we went on in the back slums. He knew we had no one to look after us, and we was all just looking out for each other, getting by together. So you mean Mr. McGilded would have, in an heartbeat, he could have had the lot of us chased out of there if he wanted. And then, where would we have gone? Eh? Nowhere, that's where. So, I didn't have a choice. Thank you, Gina, for telling us everything. But I'm for it now. Eh? Go on, admit it. You must be livid. Well, you can make amends by doing me a simple favor. Favor? What? Sign the representation papers for tomorrow's trial. Eh? If you don't actually want me to represent you in court, you can rip it up later. But we need that paperwork or we can't investigate. The police won't let us. Investigate what? The scene of the incident last night. Mr. Sholmes was shot, you see. You what? Hurley's having a big operation right now, Guinea. Is it bad? Is he gonna be alright? Sholmes is gonna be alright, right? That is why I want to investigate, for Mr. Sholmes' sake as much as anything. Right. So, what you're saying is, if I sign that bit of paper, everyone's happy. Is that it? Something like that. Mrs. Sato? Yes, of course. I have the representation papers here. I don't need to stick up. I don't need no one to stick up for me, though. No lawyer or nothing. Poor Ginny. She seems so lonely. Gina's representations papers have been entered into court record. Well, at least this should mean we can investigate the scene at Windybanks now. Yes, and perhaps we can come back to visit Ginny when we're done there. I feel like we've cracked Gina. She's opened up to us at last. And now I have her representation papers. No one else knows just what a responsibility that is. Anyway, for now it means Inspector Gregson can't stop us investigating at Windybanks. Although, something tells me he's not going to be happy about it. Okay, we'll be ending the stream here. And, we'll finish up the rest of the story next time. Is there any channel I should raid, or should I just end the stream here? Give you about a couple seconds. Ending soon. Well, with nothing said, I guess we'll see y'all next stream.